My name's Kelvin West.
I'm Taylor West, and this is Wedding Night.
Okay, we got the Pierce wedding.
Mm-hmm.
All right, we're out in Prescott. Top moments. Top three things, go.
Well, my top one was the fact that I was in Prescott.
Yeah.
We had never done a wedding outside of the Phoenix metro area. And so we got to travel to a new place as a couple, but also our first wedding outside of Phoenix. So the weather was great. The scenery was amazing. The venue was amazing. So just the overall experience to travel somewhere else and like take the weekend to go travel somewhere else, I think it was my top one.
That's absolutely amazing. I loved the journey that we had getting up there. So we thought we were going to have to get a U-Haul or borrow your dad's truck. We ended up taking the Jeep.
We're really nervous about it, right?
Like, very nervous about it. You were kind of nervous about it because you've been to Prescott before. I've never really been to Prescott. But the winding roads is what had you nervous because we never traveled with the trailer like this before. And big shout out to the trailer. I think actually one of my top moments is how well the trailer performed because we just love the trailer. But
it made me like fall in love with the Jeep even more.
Absolutely.
And the trailer.
Well, because you learned a whole new way to use the Jeep. You learned how to use your low gears. Mm-hmm. So tell me about that.
Well, it's going up there. It was a little bit of a kind of a playing around with it in the moment. But then it took us 5-10 minutes to figure it out. And then after a while, you get your system down.
Right.
And it was just slow and steady. That's
Absolutely.
So it didn't really take us that much longer, but we got up there safely.
Yeah. And that was fantastic. Okay. Number two.
My number two is, so once the wedding was started, the mirrors open, there was a lot of activity at the photo booth. Normally there's like an even amount of activity at like the photo booth and the dance floor. Yeah. But there was a very significant time where there was like a line at the photo booth. There's groups. People were like hanging out, chatting, like it was right by the bar. But then I noticed that there wasn't a ton of people on the dance floor. Which
well, see, and that's because it's your fault. So I'm sitting over here at the DJ station, and I'm like, why aren't these people dancing? Where's everybody at?
We're having a great time at the photo booth.
I'm having a great time over here by myself, and then I look over because I come to find you. And I'm just like, what is going on? You have a line out the door to everybody using the photo booth. So that was really awesome to see. My number two moment was the mashup. This was our first mashup that we had to do, that we got to do for a couple of ours.
For the first dance.
So I did all the music myself, which was really, really cool. This was the first time I did it for a couple. I've done that stuff before in the past, but this was really cool to do it as a mashup where I knew that there was going to be choreography attached to it. And we even got to see them do like the pre-choreography, the
rehearsal.
Before. Yeah, the rehearsal. And so that was really cool, spending some time up there, spending some time with them up on the rooftop there, watching them go over the routine. So the mashup was fantastic. And then you recorded it so well. You recorded it so well. And I was able to make an amazing video, our first video of like Hype Man Entertainment
of our couple
coming to you live, you know? So that was really cool. Number three.
So mine's kind of in line with number two a little bit. So I felt we always have our agenda. We have our process that we go through, but the agenda is only as good as the couple participates in.
Yeah.
And this couple was really well organized. They participated in every step of the process. You know, I feel like we were done organizing it 30, 60 days out, you know.
Well, she completely did everything. We like sent it to her and she absolutely took care of every single request that we had on there before we even needed them. So she was really on top of it.
But what that led to was knowing when and where and how to capture those special moments. So you talked about the mashup. So we knew that was happening. They practiced. We knew what time was going to happen. We talked about the sparkler send-off. We talked about all the entrances. Everything aligned really, really well. So that way we knew, the photographers knew, the caterers knew, everyone knew when things were going to happen, which allowed us to document it, have a really well-organized wedding. But we're only as good as our couple, right? And they're really, really good and participated very, very well.
Okay, so you kind of messed me up over here because you said the entrances, and I had my number three written down as seeing it all come to fruition, which it absolutely was amazing to see this all come to fruition. I felt like we knew these people. These are our friends now. And it was just such an exciting thing to see them smiling and, you know, from the virtual world that we've been living in for the last year, communicating with them virtually. Now, here we are in real time. So that was my number three, but oh my gosh, the entrances. This was absolutely the best entrances I've ever done because we got a new mic, which is kind of a cool thing. We upgraded, our mic for this wedding, and man, I really had fun on the entrances.
Yeah,
you know, and looking back, you took some fantastic video of those entrances, and looking back on them, we posted them on our social media. It's really I really look at those and I see myself just having the most fun.
Yeah.
I watch that person and I'm like, damn, This man he's having a good time. He's in his element.
Why are the entrances so important?
So this is what I always say. I say that the bridal party they're the main character, right? Now they're not the star of the show. And this is what I told the bridal party at the Pierce wedding. I said, you guys are the main character, right? You're not the star of the show, but you're the main character in regards to the dance floor, right? And the energy in the room. And so I told them, get liquored up, because that's always a big tip for mine. Weddings are supposed to be fun. There's alcohol there. Have fun. Yeah. We're not talking about a dry wedding. We haven't had one of those yet. But if there's alcohol at a wedding, drink up.
Yeah.
Let's have
Don't
some fun.
get smashed.
Well, depending on who you are.
Yeah.
Depending on who you are, you can, and how well you can carry yourself. But that's for another show. But they had a good time, and so it's important for what the entrances do, to answer your question, what the entrances do is they set the tone
exactly
for the rest of the evening. And these guys nailed it. They absolutely nailed it. And our energy combined was it was something out of this world.
Yeah.
I loved it. It was fantastic.
Yeah, and it did. You saw the entrances set the stage for the rest of the party, and everyone had a great time.
Yeah.
And a lot of people come up to say, hey, the DJ, the photo booth, everything was amazing, right? And it goes back to a well-organized agenda that we know when to execute, what's happening, where it's happening.
And we do that well.
Yes,
we do that well.
We do got that nailed down.
Our agenda, that's going to be a time for another show.
Okay.
What is your aha moment?
So my aha moment, and I feel like this is not the first time we've come across this, but it's always an afterthought of once we have everything set up and we're waiting for the wedding to start.
Yeah.
But we have to start thinking about it beforehand, is the sun. So the sun comes in.
Lesson learned, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's the way that the sun was coming in at the 4-5 o'clock hour, it was hitting right on the mirror, which made the photo bit difficult to see, right? Because it's supposed to be interactive. It also made it hot. It also made your gear hot at one point. So your stuff started overheating.
I had to put my mixer in the refrigerator. It was so we left and we get set up early. I had to come back. The thing was burning hot. I had to put it in the refrigerator. So yeah.
So absolutely. I think that is just kind of figuring out where the sun's going to be coming down. What angle are we facing? East to west? Are we facing north to south? Remember we were talking about moving the photo booth up to the front next to the dance floor, which that would have been really cool. It would have been easier when the sun was out. Right. But then I like it after the fact in the back by the bar.
It was perfect. And good kudos to you for telling us to bring the canopy.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
So see, we learned from a past one around that, right? The previous wedding.
For sure. We didn't have it, and it's like, well, now it's always going to be on the trailer.
Yeah.
Totally.
Yeah. Totally. What was your aha moment?
So my aha moment was learning that we can travel, right? Knowing that we can travel and absolutely knock it out of the water. This was one of our top weddings. I always say it at every wedding that, man, this is one of the best. But this truly was one of the best because of the journey that you and I went on to get there.
Yeah.
And how we overcame challenges and just truly showed who we were as business owners. As a husband and husband team, business owner. So that was awesome.
So obviously we went to Prescott.
Yeah.
I would do Payson. It's like right next door.
Yeah.
Flagstaff is a little bit longer, but I don't think it'd be too much. Would you go outside of Arizona?
I would absolutely go outside of Arizona, but I think once we get to that level, we're talking about something differently. We don't need to take the trailer that far. That's when we start to look into, well, what kind of equipment can we rent when we're out there, so that I show up, get the job done, but we're not making.
I would do like Nevada, New Mexico, California,
absolutely.
Maybe Texas. I wouldn't go to Florida with it. That's a whole different ballgame. But
honestly, I think we need to look out and check with other DJs, see what they do. I think that's an interesting thing. That's an interesting concept. But yeah, for sure. Okay, what is your wedding tip? What you want to tell our future couples,
our future clients?
Yeah.
So one thing that I would definitely recommend is that if you're going to have a buffet, to make sure that you're conscious of how many people are serving, which I think is not a general question that intuitively comes up. But what happens is that if you don't have enough people serving your guests, then what happens is that table 1's already done by the time table 5 is just getting their food, and table 10 hasn't even eaten yet, right? So we space it out, which I wouldn't recommend, or just make sure that they have more people there or have more self-serve options. Like if you have beans and rice,
self-serve,
let them do it themselves.
Self-serve. And here's the thing is that when you have a buffet, the table should be long, and there should be people on both sides serving themselves.
Yeah.
Right. We're all family. Make sure everybody's has their gloves and does the sanitizer. But if we're going to do the buffet, I agree with you. Make sure it's efficient so that everybody can eat on time.
Yeah.
For me, my wedding tip, and this is one that I always want to truly just connect with our couples on, is when to shut it off. Right. When to turn off the party. There's that magic hour, right? That magic moment when it's like you hit it. Everybody's there. We get it. We see it. And that's at 10 o'clock. That's at 10 o'clock, right? It's at 10 o'clock because people are tired, shutting the party down at 10 opposed to going to midnight or going to 1 a.m. We've had some people try to get us to go till 2 a.m.
Yeah.
Excuse me. What that does is that it's things get twisted. They get iffy there. They get iffy at that hour because it's like, you're never going to get that high again, that you had at the peak of the party. It's never going to happen again. And you've also lost people on the way. Yeah. So shutting it down is very, very important because then it also gives you the opportunity to go on to the next party.
Yeah.
Get on to the next party.
Well, it also minimizes risk, right? Like, if you've been drinking since 4 p.m. and now it's 10, if you go into 11, 12, 1 a.m., that's where people start to get too drunk. They start to, get sloppy. That's where accidents can happen. That's where emotions can start coming out.
Right.
That's where people can just lay down and fall asleep, so it's ending on that high and going out just as smoothly as you came in.
Absolutely. And taking everybody with you. Everybody goes home. There's leave no man behind, right?
Yeah.
Leave no woman behind.
And that might be a pro tip too of like, if you're going to end at 10 and you want to keep the party going with a certain select group, like obviously the bridal party, close friends, whatever, then already have those plans, right? Don't make them after it's done. Say, okay, we're going to go to this person's house.
Is here, right? Plan the after party. Maybe that's what it is. What's the after party?
Who's calling the Uber at this time?
Who's that? What is the after party?
Yeah.
So awesome.
Yep.
Okay. Well, that is the Pierce wedding. So the next wedding that we have coming up is one happening in November, and I'm looking forward to that.
Let's do it. So this has been an excellent time. How do we close this out?
We close it out with saying, I'm Kelvin West.
I'm Taylor West.
And
this is Wedding Hype.